Hi, here we are in the book corner again, and I'm going to continue reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe this morning. Um, in the last segment, we read about Edmund meeting the White Witch, and the White Witch giving him Turkish delight and uh, telling him that he should bring his brother and his sisters to her place. If he ever got back into Narnia, he was supposed to bring them with. And we remember, of course, that the White Witch had paid the faun, Tumnus, Mr. Tumnus, to be a kidnapper for her. For some reason, she really wants to get the children. And so now she has enlisted Edmund to do that. And she has done that basically by giving him such a desire for Turkish delight that he wants to come back and have more. Now, we're going to read the section about what happens right after the witch leaves. Right after the witch leaves, well, just before she leaves, Edmund says, "Please, can I have a little more Turkish delight?" just before she leaves. And she says, "No, no." And then with a laugh, "You must wait till next time." And then next time, don't forget, come soon. Now, Edmund was still staring after the sledge when he heard someone calling his own name, and looking around, he saw Lucy coming towards him from another part of the wood. Okay, so Lucy is now coming towards him. She's been somewhere else, but now she sees him and she's coming toward him. Now, remember when Edmund first got into Narnia through the closet, this is how it's described his experience when he first got into Narnia, just before he met the witch. He said he now remembered that he had been looking for Lucy, and also how unpleasant he had been to her about her imaginary country, which now turned out not to have been imaginary at all. He thought that she must be somewhere quite close, and so he shouted, "Lucy, Lucy, I'm here too, Edmund." There was no answer. She's angry about all the things I've been saying lately, thought Edmund, and though he did not like to admit it, that he had been wrong, he also did not much like being alone in the strange, cold place. So he shouted again, "I say, Lou, I'm sorry. I didn't believe you. I see now that you were right all along. Do come out, make it pax or make peace." So that was his first reaction when he got into Narnia. He wanted to find Lucy and he wanted to make up with her and admit that he had been wrong. But then the witch shows up and he talks to the witch and he gets Turkish delight. And now, right after the witch leaves, Lucy comes running towards him. So that's right where we are. But I want us to pay attention to how Edmund responds to Lucy now that he has been with the witch. Does he still want to make up with her in the same way that he did before he met the witch? Well, let's see. "Oh, Edmund," she cried, "so you've got in too. Isn't it wonderful? And now—" "All right," said Edmund. "I see you were right. It is a magic wardrobe after all." Well, so he admits that she was right. "I'll say I'm sorry if you like." Notice that he's now sort of grudgingly saying that he will say he's sorry if that's what she wants. But remember, when he first got into Narnia, he said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." He wasn't hedging about that at all. "But where on earth have you been all this time?" Edmund says. "I've been looking for you everywhere." Is that true? Has Edmund been looking for her everywhere? What has he been doing? He hasn't been looking here and there. He's been talking to the White Witch. Lucy says, "If I had known that you had got in, I would have waited for you," said Lucy, who was too happy and excited to notice how snappishly Edmund spoke and how flushed and strange his face was. I've been having lunch with Mr. Tumnus, the fawn, and he's very well, and the White Witch has done nothing to him for letting me go. So he thinks she can't have found out. And perhaps everything is going to be all right after all. So she's happy Mr. Tumnus didn't get in trouble. And uh, evidently the White Witch hasn't found out. So maybe things are going to be okay. But remember that when Edmund was talking to the White Witch, he told her that his sister had got in and had met with Mr. Tumnus. So now the Queen does know. Let's see if Edmund tells Lucy that something like, "Oh no, I'm sorry. I told the Queen about your meeting Mr. Tumnus." Will he say that? Well, let's see. "The White Witch," said Edmund. "Who's she?" Well, surely he knows who the White Witch is. He's just been talking to her, but he's pretending like he doesn't know. "She is a perfectly terrible person," said Lucy. "She calls herself the Queen of Narnia, though she has no right to be queen at all, and all the fauns and dryads and naiads and dwarves and animals, at least all the good ones, simply hate her. And she can turn people into stone and do all kinds of horrible things. And she has made a magic so that it is always winter in Narnia, always winter, but it never gets to Christmas. And she drives about on a sledge drawn by a reindeer and with her wand in her hand and a crown on her head." Edmund was already uncomfortable from having eaten too many sweets, and when he heard that the lady he had made friends with was a dangerous witch, he felt even more uncomfortable. But he still wanted to taste the Turkish delight again, more than he wanted anything else. "Who told you all that stuff about the White Witch?" he asked. "Mr. Tumnus, the fawn," said Lucy. "You can't always believe what fawns say," said Edmund, trying to sound as if he knew far more about them than Lucy. "Who said who said so?" asked Lucy. Well, remember that the White Witch had said that to Edmund, that you can't believe what fawns tell you. But this is what Edmund says. "Oh, everyone knows it. Ask anybody you like. But it's pretty poor sport standing here in the snow. Let's go home." "Yes, let's go home," said Lucy. "Oh, Edmund, I am glad that you've got in too. The others will have to believe in Narnia now that both of us have been there. What fun it will be." But Edmund secretly thought that it would not be as good fun for him as for her. He would have to admit that Lucy had been right before all the others, and he felt sure that the others would all be on the side of the fawns and the animals. But he was already more than half on the side of the witch. He did not know what he would say or how he would keep his secret once they were all talking about Narnia. By this time they had walked a good way. Then suddenly they felt coats around them instead of branches, and the next moment they were both standing outside the wardrobe in the empty room. "I say," said Lucy, "you do look awful, Edmund. Don't you feel well?" "I'm all right," said Edmund, but this was not true. He was feeling very sick. Evidently he had too much Turkish delight. "Come on," said Lucy. "Let's find the others. What a lot we shall have to tell them. And what wonderful adventures we shall have now that we're all in it together." That is the end of chapter 4. Let me just begin reading chapter 5. I won't go very far. Because the game of hide and seek was still going on, it took Edmund and Lucy some time to find the others. But when at last they were all together, which happened in the long room where the suit of armor was, Lucy burst out, "Peter, Susan, it's all true. Edmund has seen it too. There is a country you can get into through the wardrobe. Edmund and I both got in. We met one another in there, in the wood. Go on, Edmund. Tell them all about it." Well, I wonder what Edmund is going to say. Will he admit it? He didn't want to admit it. Well, I'm going to stop right there. Next time, we'll read about what Edmund says. We'll see if he tells the truth And if so, what happens? Or if he lies about it. Okay. Well, I hope you have a good day. It's been good reading with you. Bye now.